Dear viewer, when? Dear Madeline, where has your voice gone? I don't know. I've woken up with laryngitis. I don't know where it came from. It's better now than it already was an hour ago. So while today is very exciting, it is also an impromptu cosplay of Emma Stone, Jennifer Lawrence, Florence Pugh, anyone you can name with a very husky hoarse voice. In fact, this is not what I thought the Year of the Horse meant. But here we are. Today is a very exciting day. My dad is visiting and it's been a very long time since I last saw him, and we decided to express our shared love of Wes Anderson by going to the Wes Anderson exhibition for the day in London. I love his movies. I mean, everyone does. It's really hard to dislike them. And I thought I'd bring you guys along with me. I've put on a very Wes Anderson outfit, and yeah, I just thought you could live vicariously through me if you're not able to come to the exhibition, because when I'm back home in the countryside on the other side of England, I am very aware of how accessible the world is to me and how accessible art is to me when I'm in London for uni. So if you're not able to come to this exhibition, you can live through this video, and I'm very happy to bring you along with me. I was actually talking about this with my dad, but both of us really love going into things blind. Like, we don't like looking at menus before we go to restaurants or watching movie trailers before going to the cinema. We like just experiencing things without expectations. So both of us have gone into this exhibition booking it with absolutely zero expectations. We've got no predictions about what's in there. I've seen a couple cute videos, but I've tried to sort of swipe away from them as quickly as I could so it doesn't spoil the surprise. But I will say that my favourite Wes Anderson movie, it's really hard to pick, but my two favourites, I guess, because I can't pick a favourite, is probably Isle of Dogs and The Darjeeling Limited. So if there's any of that kind of, you know, props or just movie memorabilia, costumes, anything to do with the filmmaking process, as you can probably tell, I like making movies. I am powering through this illness. The Year of the Horse is mine, and I will not let a little bit of a horse voice take that away from me. And if you watch one of my previous videos, you will know that my answer, if I'm having a bad day or I'm just not feeling great, is to ask the question, so I have a bit of laryngitis, so it's not like I'm singing a big concert tonight, which has happened. I've sung many a concert with tonsillitis and laryngitis. It sucks, it's awful. But luckily I'm not doing that today, and I'm just chilling out with my dad, catching up with him. Yeah, that'll be really nice. I'm not feeling 100%. I've got a huge spot on my chin. My voice isn't here. I'm in a little bit of pain, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't sleep the best. So we're still gonna have a fun day, and you're gonna come along with me. I'm gonna be so honest with you, I was so sick I could not explain things properly when I was there. But rather than doing an average Joe voiceover, I decided to do some extra research and get to the bottom of why Wes Anderson likes squares so much, why he likes symmetry, why he chooses his films to have so much personality. But before we go on that deep dive together, I just want to say that this was such an incredible experience. Like I said, me and my dad really didn't do any research before booking this, so everything there was a complete surprise. And he's a very special director to me. He's a very special director to anyone who makes film. He's got such an influence over new filmmakers now. So seeing all of these props and having a real insight into his creative process, because they had his notebooks there and everything too, like all of his storyboards, all his sketches. It was just really interesting. I don't think they could have done it better, so I definitely recommend going. They even had all of the original costumes, and I honestly can't believe I saw the Gwyneth Paltrow coat in real life. Margot Tenenbaum is such an intricate and delicate character, and she's so iconic, so seeing that coat in real life was also really special. But to stop myself yapping at you too much for my praise on Wes Anderson, because it's pretty obvious, he's an incredible director. So without further ado, let's answer the question, why does Wes Anderson like symmetry so much? More specifically, squares, perfectionism, and almost a non-human style of movement and speech with his actors too. You know, he's not just directing the background on the costumes and the colour grading, he's really directing these actors to move and talk in a really specific way. I would absolutely love to be a fly on the wall and just hear what instructions he gives to his actors. I find it fascinating, but it's not difficult to notice that the way he directs these actors is how I imagine Mark Zuckerberg is in his natural habitat, robotic, deadpan, and kind of expressionless, which is interesting given that every other aspect of his movies are full of expression.
Private detective to track down Mom. She's living in a convent in the foothills of the Himalayas. We'll be there in 6 days.
From the colour to the costume to the humour, it's all so oversaturated and so full of life, to the point where it's overwhelmingly surreal. So why have such a heavy contrast between the way that his actors talk and move compared to what we're actually seeing on the screen? Maybe it's most simply explained by saying it makes you look, it makes you talk, it makes you watch YouTube videos about them, it might even make you make YouTube videos about them. Not to get all Matrix and Inception on you here, but I think that's the most simple explanation of it. If you're looking for a more artistic explanation, I'd say it's because it's immersive, no matter your age, your gender, your depth of understanding of art or filmmaking in general. You feel included in the story, like it was made for you, because it's square on, it's really being framed perfectly for the viewer. Emphasis on the perfectly, almost as if you are the only audience member that this film was made for you. And they're getting the camera set up for these such square on perfect shots. They have only you in mind for it. There's so much focus on exactly what you're going to see as a cinema goer, rather than having the focus on showing you what the actors are doing on screen. It's literally the most direct form of storytelling. And I think that how striking his shots and his colour grading is has to be balanced out somehow. So I think that's where the sort of lack of expression and diluting of his actor's humanness is how he creates that perfect balance between what's stimulating for a viewer and what's overwhelming. I also think what was so exciting about this exhibition is that I was so aware of how present this is. It's distinct, yes, that's obvious, but it's also present. As much as we can appreciate the evolution in the old age of cinema, watching a Wes Anderson movie now is not the same as looking back at the first Kubrick stare. They're both so influential, but what's so exciting is that Wes Anderson is creating this now. I think there's a whole other depth of connection between his audience and him, because we're lucky enough to live in the age where he's still making the movies. It feels very real and very true that, if we got the chance, we could genuinely ask him a question in real life. I did do a bit of research and I found some interviews with him, and I found this quote: "I feel more of a sense of satisfaction when we keep things organised and we have a plan and we do it right." I think this absolutely just pieces together what we're seeing on the screen in connection to his filmmaking style, the whole process in general. Basically, the answer to this question is that he's just an incredible storyteller, and while he shoots his movies, he 100% has you as a viewer in mind. When he comes up with these ideas, he's seeing them from your perspective, and so he creates with that intent. And the result of that is these gorgeous shots, incredible colour contrast, and some of the most intricate characters ever written. But art is art. And that's just my opinion on why Wes Anderson likes Symmetry so much.